When you look at the tech landscape right now, it feels like we're living through this massive contradiction.
It really does.
I was looking at the latest market data for this show, and the numbers are they're staggering. We're seeing surveys that suggest something like 92% of businesses are planning huge investments in generative AI.
It's a gold rush, an absolute gold rush.
It is. Everyone is scrambling to buy shovels.
But, and this is a part that never makes it into the press release, if you actually talk to the people on the other side of that, the B2B buyers, they aren't feeling optimized.
No, they're feeling harassed.
Exactly.
Harassed.
They're getting slammed with those, dear first name emails that just sound like they were written by a robot that's had way too much coffee.
And that right there, that is the core tension we're really unpacking on the Agentic AI podcast today. We're calling it the automation paradox.
The automation paradox. I like that. Companies are sprinting towards hyper-efficiency, because the tools are finally here. But in that rush, they're risking the one thing that actually closes those big B2B deals.
Human trust.
Human trust.
So the mission for this deep dive is pretty specific then. We're not just talking about using AI. We need to figure out how to get from basic generative AI, which just, makes stuff, to actual agentic AI, which does work.
Without turning your whole brand into a spam machine in the process.
Yes.
That distinction is so vital. We're moving from tools that write poems to agents that actually execute workflows. But if you execute a bad workflow faster, you're just scaling a disaster.
Well, let's look at the scale of this disaster or opportunity, I guess. We have the McKinsey 2025 State of AI report here. It says 71% of organizations are using Gen AI regularly now. That's up from just 65% a year ago. And in marketing and sales specifically, it's sitting at 42%.
And that lines up perfectly with the PwC data we have, which shows 88% of executives are planning to increase that spend. The checkbooks are wide open.
But here's where I get stuck. HubSpot's data shows sales rep adoption is up 79% year over year. So everyone's buying it, the reps are using it.
Sounds good so far.
But then you look at this Forrester 2024 survey, and it just drops a bomb on the whole thing. Only 19% of leaders say they have fully integrated AI into their daily workflows.
And that gap, that chasm between the 79% adoption and the 19% integration, that's the most interesting thing happening in the entire market right now.
Why is that gap so huge? I mean, if the reps are using it, isn't that integrated?
Not at all. Not in a meaningful way. Think about how most people are using AI today.
Okay.
They've got a browser tab open with ChatGPT. They copy a messy email from a prospect. They paste it in, ask for a reply, copy that reply, and then paste it back into Outlook.
That's adoption, sure, but it's so disjointed.
It's shadow AI. It's manual labor masquerading as automation. Real integration, what we call an agentic workflow, is when the system itself sees the email, analyzes the sentiment, checks your CRM for context, and then drafts the reply right there inside the tool you're already using.
So the friction is that companies are buying the licenses, but they're not, rebuilding the plumbing.
That's it exactly. You can't just bolt a Ferrari engine onto a skateboard and expect it to work.
Yeah.
If you don't fix the chassis, your data quality, the skill gaps, you just crash faster.
Okay, so let's talk about the 19% who are figuring this out, the ones building the chassis. What's the actual payoff? Because we hear efficiency, but in B2B, that doesn't always translate to revenue.
It does when you use it for things like predictive analytics. This is where agentic AI really shines. It's not about writing text. It's about processing massive amounts of information.
Okay.
Bain & Company reports that early deployments are boosting win rates by over 30%.
30%. That's massive. How?
Yeah.
Is it just writing better emails?
No, it's about knowing who to email in the first place.
Yeah.
Humans are, frankly, terrible at seeing patterns across huge data sets.
Right.
If you've got 10,000 leads, a sales rep will probably call the ones they recognize or the ones with the biggest logos.
They cherry pick based on gut feeling.
Exactly. But an AI agent looks at what we call digital body language.
Yeah.
It sees that a prospect at some mid-sized company just hit your pricing page 3 times, downloaded a technical white paper, and then looked at your integration docs.
That's a huge intent signal.
A massive one. It's connecting dots a human would absolutely miss because they're too busy logging their calls.
And LinkedIn's 2025 findings back that up, right?
They did. They found that AI users are twice as likely to exceed their targets. And it's not because the AI is closing the deal for them. It's because the AI is tapping them on the shoulder and saying, hey, call Susan right now. She's ready to talk.
So it's basically the world's best executive assistant.
That's the agentic part. It's prioritizing your entire day for you.
We also saw some pretty wild numbers on campaign optimization. Gartner noted AI reduces campaign launch times by 75%. That makes sense.
Right, the generative part is faster.
But they also claim a 47% increase in click-through rates from real-time A/B testing.
That's the machine speed advantage. In the old world, you'd run an A/B test, you'd wait 2 weeks for the data, you'd analyze it, then you'd roll out the winner.
Standard practice.
An AI agent can run 50 variations at the same time, kill the losers in an hour, and automatically double down on what's working. It just iterates so much faster than a human team ever could.
Which sounds like a dream for any marketing director. But, and we have to pivot here, this brings us right back to that tension we started with. If the AI is so good at this, why are buyers getting so skeptical?
Because there's a huge difference between being optimized and being understood.
Oh.
The Edelman Trust Barometer is really clear on this. 61% of buyers prefer sellers who show actual empathy for their specific situation.
And empathy's the one thing the algorithm just can't quite fake.
It tries. But that's where you get that uncanny valley effect, when a robot looks almost human, but something's just off and gives you the creeps.
Yeah, like that email that says, I hope you're enjoying the weather and city name.
Exactly. It's technically correct, but it's emotionally hollow. And KPMG research shows that 61% of people trust AI less when they can tell it's AI.
So the moment I sense a machine wrote it, my guard just goes up.
Instantly, you feel like a row in a database, not like a partner in a conversation.
It's message fatigue. I feel like I delete 50 of those emails a day. They're all just slight variations of the same AI pitch.
And that fatigue is genuinely dangerous for a brand. Trade Press Services warns that over-personalization, using data without real context, can feel invasive.
It feels like stalking, not like helping.
Right. And then you've got the legal side. If your AI is scraping data in ways that violate CCPA or GDPR, you're not just annoying people, you're creating a serious liability.
But even beyond the legal stuff, there's what you called contextual blindness. Unpack that a bit.
Okay, so B2B deals are complex. They can take 6-8 months. They involve a CFO who only cares about cost, a CTO who only cares about security, and an end user who just cares if it's easy to use.
Right, different stakeholders, different needs.
And AI doesn't get the political dynamics between those people. It has no idea that the CTO secretly hates the CFO. It can't read the room.
It can't read the room. That's a great way to put it.
TrustRadius had a report in 2024 showing 80% of buyers trust AI tools sometimes, but they vastly prefer human-verified info for the big stuff. If you rely on AI to manage that sensitive relationship, you're going to lose.
So we have this really clear financial risk. Gartner says you'll see a 20% ROI decline if you don't adopt AI.
So you have to do it.
But if you do it wrong, you just alienate your entire customer base.
That is the paradox. You risk a total irrelevance if you don't automate, but you risk your reputation if you automate too much.
So let's solve it. The research outlines a strategic framework for this, a human-in-the-loop model. But I don't want to just list off steps. What does this actually look like in a real company?
Okay, it all starts with a really rigorous division of labor. The framework calls it assessing workflows, but I like to call it the robot versus the poet.
The robot versus the poet. Okay, I like that. Who does what?
You have to look at every single task in your sales cycle and ask, does this require raw computing power? Or does it require emotional intelligence?
Give me an example.
Lead scoring, robot. Data entry, robot. Scheduling meetings, definitely the robot.
And the poet.
The poet handles the story. Interpreting the customer's real pain point, crafting the final proposal, actually managing the negotiation. The single biggest mistake leaders make is trying to get the AI to be the poet.
Okay, so once you've made that division, what's next?
You need guidelines. You cannot just let these agents run wild. The sources all point to one critical policy. Human review is mandatory for all outbound content.
See, that sounds like a bottleneck, though. If I have to review every single email, am I really saving any time?
You are, because the AI did the first 15 minutes of research and drafting for you. You're just doing the final 2 minutes of polishing. It's what the workflow examples call the sandwich method.
The sandwich method.
Yeah. The AI is the bottom slice of bread. It gathers all the data and the context. The human is the meat in the middle, adding the flavor, the specific tone, the empathy. Then the AI is the top slice again. It formats it, checks for grammar, schedules the send.
I see. So the human is sandwiched right in the middle to ensure the quality.
Precisely. And to get there, you need the third piece, which is training. But not just how to use this software training. We're talking about prompt engineering blended with empathy training.
That's an interesting combination. Usually those are two totally different departments.
Not anymore. They can't be.
Yeah.
You have to teach your sales reps how to prompt the AI to sound like them. If you don't, they'll just accept the default robotic output every time.
That's where that AI Center of Excellence concept comes in.
Exactly. You build internal experts who find the best prompts and then share them across the organization. That naturally leads into the fourth step, which is to integrate tools.
So it's all in one place.
Yes. The AI does the draft, the human does the refinement, all in one window. No more tab switching. And finally, you have to monitor and iterate constantly.
You can't just set it and forget it.
Never. The models change, the market changes. It has to be a living process.
I want to get a little technical for a minute because we are talking about enterprise data here. Customer lists, financial projections. You can't just feed that into a public model.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's a massive security risk. And this is where the conversation has to shift to private AI.
Meaning what exactly? Running it on your own servers?
Essentially, yes.
Yes.
The AI lives inside your house. We're seeing a huge rise in what are called private AI appliances and deployments on, virtual private clouds or VPCs. It's a walled garden.
And a company like lowtouch.ai that was mentioned, they build that infrastructure.
So you do. They focus on the data center infrastructure that lets you run these large language models on your own servers, or at least on a private, isolated slice of the cloud.
Why does that matter so much? Is it just about preventing data leaks?
That's a huge part of it. But it's also about what data comes in. Public models are trained on the entire internet, the good and the bad. A private agent is trained only on your data.
Which means it's less likely to just make things up.
Exactly. It significantly reduces hallucinations. It can't invent a product feature if it's only ever been allowed to read your official documentation. It's safer and it's smarter about your specific business.
That makes sense.
And that then enables no-code agents.
Yeah.
Once you have that secure environment, you can let your non-technical teams build their own little bots to automate their own tasks.
Speaking of tools, one that caught my eye in the notes was Prompt Stash. It's a Chrome extension.
Yeah, this is a great practical example of that center of excellence idea. It lets you manage and deploy your best prompt templates across the entire team.
So if I figure out the absolute perfect prompt for handling an angry customer, I can save it, and the whole support team can use it instantly.
Exactly. It ensures consistency. Yeah. You don't have one rep using a genius prompt and another just asking ChatGPT to write a sorry email. It standardizes the brain of your team.
Okay, so we have the strategy, the human-in-the-loop model, and the secure infrastructure. But how do we measure if any of this is actually working? You seemed pretty skeptical of CTRs earlier.
I am. I think if we're going to prioritize trust, we need trust metrics. We have to move beyond just the click.
Okay, give me an example.
Net Promoter Score, NPS. If you launch a massive AI campaign, you have to watch your NPS like a hawk. If your efficiency metrics go up, but your NPS goes down, you're burning your brand.
You're trading long-term loyalty for short-term noise.
Precisely. Another one is engagement depth.
So not just if they clicked, but what they did next.
Are they actually replying? Are they asking smart questions? Or are they just clicking a link and then immediately bouncing? A high bounce rate on an AI campaign is a huge red flag that you trick them into clicking.
The one that really stood out to me in the notes was conversion cycle time.
This is my favorite one. Because speed implies trust. Think about it. If I really trust you, I don't need 5 meetings to sign a contract.
That's true. Skepticism slows everything down.
It does. So if your agentic workflow is actually working, if it's getting the right information to the right person at the right time, your deal cycle should get shorter. If they're getting longer, your AI is just confusing people.
And I guess the ultimate metric is churn.
It's always churn. If you automate your customer success process and your churn rate spikes, you have failed. Period. It doesn't matter how much money you saved on support staff if you lost all the revenue.
It just keeps coming back to that human element. You can't automate a relationship.
You can't.
So as we look forward, we're staring down the barrel of 2030. The AI market is projected to hit something like $82 billion. Where is this all going?
I don't think the winners are going to be the companies with the most powerful algorithms. Pretty soon, everyone will have powerful algorithms. The winners will be the ones who are masters of human-centered AI.
Meaning the AI is a partner, not a replacement.
Exactly. We're moving toward a world of agentic partners. The AI sits alongside you. It handles the drudgery, the data analysis, the scheduling, the pattern matching. And that frees you up to do the one thing it can never do.
Be human. Be human.
I want to leave our listeners with a final thought on that. We know AI can write the email. We know it can schedule the meeting. We know it can analyze the quarterly data faster than any human ever could.
Yeah.
But think about that high-stakes B2B deal, the one that could make or break your year.
The one where you're sitting across the table from a really skeptical CFO.
Exactly. Can an AI look that CFO in the eye and build genuine confidence? Can it read the tiny hesitation in their voice? Can it tell a joke to break the tension in the room?
Oh.
The technology isn't there yet, and maybe it never should be. The real competitive advantage of the future isn't going to be how much you automate. It's going to be how human you can afford to remain because of what you automated.
Automate the mundane so you can double down on the meaningful. That's the mission. This has been the Agentic AI podcast. Thanks for diving in with us, and we'll see you on the next one.